Emmanuel. Mr. Emmanuel. I've been watching for you to pass by. Can I have a look at it?
Of course, Mr. Simon. Look.
Presented to Isaac Emmanuel, 40 years loyal service with the Doomington Welfare Board, 1938.
Gee, Mr. Emmanuel, that's lovely.
40 years, would you believe it?
I should have such a watch.
Can we look at it, please?
Listen. Like an orchestra?
Yes.
Well, there's something to keep you busy for the next 40 years?
That's a long time, Bill. A lot can happen by then, please God. Good night, Mrs. Bryson. Good night, Mrs. Simon.
Don't drop it, Mr. Emmanuel.
Oh, thank you. Good night.
Hi, Mr. Emmanuel. Mr. Emmanuel. We're having one on you. Will you come in and join us?
Oh, thank you. I would like to later on.
All right, Mr. Emmanuel.
Mr. Silver. Come in.
They say it was a great success, Mr. Emmanuel. Such beautiful speeches.
And such a beautiful watch. Look.
Like a cathedral.
And now, I'll always know the time. But will I know what to do with it?
Nonsense, Mr. Emmanuel. Such nonsense. What? Not started your supper? And the milk not on yet? Sit down at once after a day like this.
It's been too much excitement. I can't eat.
Come now, Mr. Emmanuel. What would she have said?
She'd have said, it's been too much excitement. He can't eat.
So, it won't be long now before you leave for Palestine, yes?
Are you in such a hurry to get rid of me?
No. You are tired. You need a change from meetings and committees. Have you heard from his son over there?
He won't take no for an answer. I should go at once, he says.
God bless him. On his big farm, it will be like a new life for you.
A new life. An old man in the sunset sitting on a bench against a wall. A new life, he calls it.
When will you go?
A few months, maybe.
Why so long? Oh, the milk.
I have a policy for payment in 3 months, so I wait.
Well, Mr. Emmanuel, you should not be offended. If you let me, I can fix it. You should have some money in advance. Well, what do you say? Are you offended?
Mr. Silver, you're like a brother to me. You should know me by now. For somebody else, I will borrow from a stranger in the street. He won't know what day it is. But for myself, I won't borrow from my own brother.
You will argue from a horse's hind leg.
Hello. Here's a letter from Sussex, from Rose Cooper.
What? From our Rose? From Magnolia Street? Well, what does she say? Is she coming to pay us a visit? Another baby.
She's got 3 new babies.
3.
Poor little things. You see, Mr. Silver, when people are in trouble, they still have to come to old Emmanuel.
Well, and what is it?
You know our Rose, a heart of gold. She's taken 3 German boys, refugees, for their holidays, and she wants someone to look after them. Someone with tact. She wants to know how soon I can come. What time is it?
Sit down. Tomorrow's also a day.
What can I get for those boys? I must get some presents, and for Rosie's children, too. Some toys, some little jokes, perhaps.
Los, kommt!
Children, how are you?
Chip took Daddy's pipe.
And Dickie, what a big man it is. Come along, Ed. Come along, I'm Dickie.
He's come. Mr. Emmanuel's come.
Rose, my dear.
Emmanuel. But why didn't you wire us? We'd have met you.
But, my dear, you asked me to come, and I came.
What's in there? Presents?
Uh-huh.
What have you got in there, a body?
Why not a body?
Just like Daddy Christmas.
A knife.
A knife, Sally.
Captain Cooper, please, his pipe.
Oh, thank you, Klaus. I can't think what John would have said.
So these are the 3 babies, eh, Rose?
Yes, boys, this is Mr. Emmanuel. This is Klaus.
How do you do?
How do you do?
Otto. Freut mich sehr. And this is Bruno. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Now come at once and see what I've got for you.
Me too.
Yes, everybody. Where's that knife now? 1.
Hurry up, I won't see.
All right. 2.
Wait a minute, Dickie.
There we are.
Look.
Now, it's ladies first, isn't it?
Oh, thank you.
And what about that little one?
Thank you.
Now, you look what's inside there.
I'll swap you. Oh, no, you don't. Yes, I want.
Ein Glas beer?
Wait a moment, I'll show you. Now, your very good health.
Es ist aber nicht flüssig.
No, it's funny, no?
Good day, Mrs. Cooper.
Good day, Mr. Parkin. How's the lumbago? Did you try my liniment?
No more good than all the rest of them. Here's your lot.
Thank you. Otto, one for you from Germany.
Dankeschön.
You too, Klaus. Oh, one from John. One from the butcher. Another one for you, Otto. Never mind, Bruno. Better luck tomorrow.
Ach, it will be the same tomorrow.
Otto.
Du blöder Kerl.
Bist auch einer.
Poor kid.
What is it? Why?
He's so worried. His mother.
Oh, listen, everybody. Daddy's ship's in. He's coming home on Friday.
Oh, Daddy, can we go to Southampton to meet him? Oh, yes, can we, Mummy?
Will you come too, Mr. Emmanuel?
To Southampton? What an excitement!
And tea on the way back with ice creams.
It will be my picnic. I shall buy you all ice creams. Big ones, like elephants.
Me too, lovely.
Something more, anybody?
Thank you, no.
Would you bring us these 12 more cream buns to take with us?
I feel hungry.
Thank you.
Oh boy, what a tea.
Bruno, you come with me. There is in this town something more beautiful than cream buns. Thank you.
Well, it's time we're moving along.
Can I go and start the car?
Well, it's more than I can, but you can try.
All right.
Let me come.
I'll start it if you come.
John, I hope you don't mind.
Mind what?
Well, my wishing these 3 boys on you.
Of course not.
It's only for the holidays.
Glad to do anything for them, especially as you've got to do it.
It's not like men built it. It's like angels.
I'm thinking there cannot be any angels anymore.
I, too, have thought often there are no angels. I think now they're a long way away, but they'll come back and inspire men to build again. You may be sure of that. Oh, my old legs. You are at school in England, Bruno, yes? Where is it?
Hazelmere Greystones.
Do you like English puddings?
No, I do not like English puddings.
No, some English puddings are not nice. Bruno, Mrs. Cooper has told me about you.
What?
About your father and mother. It's hard to say anything to help. But sometimes to know that people want to help, that helps a little, yes?
Doch, das hilft. Ach, still I feel all my troubles in German. Please, I say thank you in English.
Ah, there you are. Mrs. Cooper says come, please.
Come, Bruno.
Oh, here they are.
It's only 6 o'clock.
Enjoyed yourselves, you boys?
We've had quite a talk. A nice talk, eh? I'm afraid I did most of the talking.
It was a nice talk.
No, I think you'll get Ach, reites man, lass doch die Lilien stehen. Oh, you and your dry Lilien. It cracks my teeth.
Dry Lilien, dry Lilien. It was my mother's favorite song, too. Why doesn't she write to me, Mr. Emmanuel? She used to write to me every day. 5 whole months, Mr. Emmanuel. And I've not heard one single word. Not one. I'm frightened, Mr. Emmanuel.
You must be patient, Bruno. I myself have written to the committee in Berlin.
But you haven't had a letter either.
Maybe they're busy. Maybe they don't know where she is.
Why don't they know where she is?
Maybe she works in politics. Nobody can know where she is.
Maybe they beat her. Now, this very minute.
Bruno, why should you say that?
My father was in politics.
Yes?
They beat him and killed him.
Bruno, perhaps one day you would like to tell me of your father and mother and your life in Germany, if you would like to talk to me.
I had a rabbit. He was called Joe. I'll show you his photo. He used to punch with his hind legs.
Oh, not a rabbit. A lion. What did he eat? 6-inch nails?
I always used to feed him myself. I would not let anybody else feed him. I sometimes wonder whether he wonders what's happened to me. Do you think he does? But it would not be any good writing a letter to ask, would it?
I'm afraid not. Is that her? Your mother? She must be a very lovely mother.
The most wonderful mother in all the world. Tomorrow is my birthday. Perhaps I shall get a letter then, on my birthday.
Your birthday tomorrow? Perhaps.
Come on, Bruno, you blow them out.
Yes, come on, Bruno. Clever.
Now then, where did I put that knife?
It's in your hand, darling.
Here you are, Bruno. Oh, never mind. He'll be along in a minute. You cut the cake. There's the way.
What a cake. Like the Manchester Town Hall.
What a cigarette holder, like the Albert Memorial.
It's his birthday and he gives me presents.
I want that piece.
No, you can't both have it.
Toast. I'm so sorry, Bruno. Would have been a lovely birthday present.
That's all right, Miss Cooper. Who has no cake?
I haven't.
But you have a piece in your hand.
What's in this one? What are you going to play tonight, Otto?
I don't know.
Let's have rehearsal. Can we, Mummy?
Rehearsal? What for?
Oh, darling, didn't I tell you?
You never tell me anything.
Well, we're going to have a little party for Bruno tonight. Some of the boys from the camp down at the beach.
How many?
Oh, about 20.
20?
But they're such dear little things.
Oh, my darling, oh, my darling, oh, my darling Clementine. You are lost and gone forever, dreadful sorry Clementine. In the center of the valley lived a maiden all divine, a pretty creature, miner's daughter, and her name was Clementine. Oh, my darling, oh, my darling, oh, my darling Clementine. You are lost and gone forever, dreadful sorry Clementine. A noble father was the foreman of every valued mine, and every miner and every Welshman was in love with Clementine. Oh, my darling, oh, my darling, oh, my darling Clementine. You are lost and gone forever, dreadful sorry Clementine. The old miner of 49er, in his dreams and most sublime, lived in comfort with his daughter, his pretty Clementine. Oh, my darling, oh, my darling, oh, my darling Clementine. You are lost and gone forever, dreadful sorry Clementine. Gone away beyond the rain, where the days are time. Your home I could remember, this day Clementine. Oh, my darling, oh, my darling, oh, my darling Clementine. You are lost and gone forever, dreadful sorry Clementine. When the maiden and the sailor did brave in the sun, oh, the great Roman miner, the red Clementine. Oh, my darling Clementine, you are lost and gone forever, dreadful sorry Clementine. None was dearer, since the days of 49, when in youth he had a love
Bruno!
who was dead.
Bruno! Bruno! Bruno!
He's going to be all right, isn't he, Doctor?
You can't be too careful when they once had rheumatic fever. But I think you'll miss it this time. Good night, Captain.
Good night, Doctor.
Oh, see the old gentleman doesn't stay up there too long. I'll be in tomorrow. Good night, Mrs. Cooper.
Good night, Doctor.
It's all right, Bruno. Everything's all right.
Mr. Emmanuel?
All right, I'm coming in a moment.
Is Mrs. Cooper angry?
No,
Are you angry?
no, nobody is angry. We are so sorry you've been so unhappy.
I was not unhappy last night. I thought before the day came that I might be with my mother again.
I know. But you mustn't talk like that. You are young. There is much to do in the world.
They do not want I should do it. My father was non-Aryan. Why did Klaus come after me, Mr. Emmanuel? He should not.
Bruno, the doctor said you are not to get excited. To blame your friend for saving your life, that is not good.
No, I'm being bad again. You won't like me anymore.
I like you, Bruno. Like my little son who died in the war.
I don't deserve you should like me. I shall be good. I will do all the doctor tells me.
And then everybody will be pleased with you. Mrs. Cooper, Captain Cooper, and the committee in London.
And Klaus and Otto and you?
Of course. And now I must go. Or Mrs. Cooper will give me a pitch patch.
Mr. Emmanuel.
Yes, Bruno?
It is not right I should lie to you. Next time it will be done properly.
Bruno, I know you are not making a fool of me. I know you mean what you say. I don't blame you. It is a bad world, a wicked world that should treat like this a little boy. Now, I want you to listen to me. Are you listening, Bruno? I want you to make me a promise. You are very unhappy, and you think too quickly a bad thing. Perhaps your mother is dead. Yes. Perhaps, too, she is alive. Well, I make you first a promise. I will go to Germany to find out. I will go everywhere. I will ask everybody. I will find out. And you, Bruno, you, this is the promise you shall make me. You shall be a good boy until I come back. You know what I mean. You will be a good boy. Do you promise? Do you promise, Bruno?
Mr. Emmanuel.
All right. I am coming. I am coming.
Sorry, Mr. Emmanuel, but the doctor said he wasn't to get excited.
Well, he's not excited now. And he's going to be a good boy.
Of course, he always is.
Oh, no, but I mean, no more nonsense like last night.
Poor kid. It must have given him a bit of a fright.
No, it didn't give him a bit of a fright. I made him a promise. And he made me a promise also.
That he's going to be a good boy from now on, eh?
That's right. Because I promised him that I will go to Germany to find out.
To Germany?
Yes, about his mother. It was the uncertainty that was killing him.
Oh, it's lovely of you, lovely. But you mustn't think of it.
It's ridiculous.
Yes, Rose. I am going.
Mr. Emmanuel, don't you see how dangerous it is?
Dangerous. An old man takes a little trip to Germany and she talks like going to hunt wild animals in Africa.
Don't you see, a foreigner and a Jew, those people won't stand for it. Oh, John, can't you talk to him?
You're not going. The fact is, I'm going.
Excuse me, John, but was it you who promised Bruno you will go to Germany, or was it me? If it was your Vicky, would you let me go? No. I shall go myself. Let's say no more about it.
There. For the journey, Mr. Emmanuel.
Such a cheeky Mrs. Silver. It's still alive. Here, take this handkerchief. I go for a little holiday in Germany and she cries like a waterfall.
Can I come in?
Come in. Mrs. Hargrave, such a pleasure.
There you are, Mr. Emmanuel. You'll need it in that there Germany.
Oh,
that's
nice.
So many presents from everybody. It's like a wedding.
It could all be done by letter, so he must go and put his head in a mousetrap.
You should not go. It's dangerous.
Dangerous. Dangerous for a man. He should find out the small boy's mother. Where is she? Dangerous for an Englishman with an English passport? Why, look what it says. And signed by the Foreign Secretary himself. Listen, Mrs. Hargreaves, listen. We request and require in the name of His Majesty all those whom it may concern. What do you think of that? To allow the bearer to pass freely without let or hindrance, and to afford him every assistance and protection of which he may stand in need. Pension, Frau Kahn?
3 Treppen.
Danke.
Bitte?
My name, Emmanuel. Ich bin von England. I have written to Frau Kahn.
I am Frau Kahn. Come in, Mr. Emmanuel.
Oh.
We were expecting you.
How do you do?
You take the bags. We have kept for you one of our best rooms.
Oh, well, thank you.
Mr. Emmanuel, ein Herr aus England.
Ach, England.
Aus England.
Aus England.
Warum kommt er aus England?
An agreeable room, no?
Indeed, yes, a nice room. Is there perhaps a telephone?
Why, please? Is there any reason why there should be a telephone?
It would be perhaps more convenient.
There is no reason in this house for private telephone calling. Look. Please.
Yes, yes, that will do nicely.
This room has been done already. I told you the door between the rooms must always be bolted.
Oh, excuse me, please.
Aren't you ever going to learn? All right. Drive me quite mad. Please come here. I'm sorry, I must explain.
Oh.
She's the only Aryan woman we have. She come to scrub the floors. One moment she's the other end of the house. The next second she's behind your shoulder. We are so afraid.
Then why do you keep her?
The house porter say we must. She's 45, 50, no one knows how old. But she says she is 38. For us, the Nuremberg laws comes almost as a blessing. You see?
I'm afraid not.
No Aryan under 45 is allowed to work in a non-Aryan place. So we say to her, we are sorry, but she must go.
But she's still here.
The house porter. Did you see him?
Well, yes, I just saw him.
He came up. He said she wasn't 38 anymore. She was 46. So she must stay.
Please, after my journey, could I have a bath?
But of course, Mr. Emmanuel. Trude will prepare it.
Oh.
Anything you want, Mr. Emmanuel, but if you will please to ring the bell.
Thank you. Haben Sie Virginia cigarettes?
You are English?
Yes, I'm from Doomington.
Oh, I too have been in England.
In Doomington, perhaps?
No, only to Oxford.
Ah, to see the colleges.
I was lecturing there.
Oh?
I was a professor at the Berlin University some years ago.
Yes, yes, of course. Have you perhaps heard of a family named Rosenheim? They used to live in the Motzstrasse some time ago.
No, I'm sorry.
I'm trying to find them. I'm going now to the refugee committee. Perhaps they can help.
I hope so.
Good day, Professor.
Good day.
So you've come after all, huh? You're mad, Mr. Emmanuel.
I'm sorry I should be a nuisance, but I had to come. I promised that boy.
What boy?
From the Motzstrasse, number 33.
Oh, yes, I remember. It will do nobody any good, your coming here.
But he would have killed himself if I'd not come.
Boys are killing themselves every day, Mr. Emmanuel.
Please, I beg you, if you have kept anything back, I'm not going to rest until I find out.
I wrote to you, you shouldn't come to Germany. This is political.
Political?
Yes, it is political and dangerous to try to find out. It isn't fair on us either. We have enough on our hands already.
Then you have no advice to offer me? No advice at all?
You are from England. You can go back to England anytime you want. Do you know what that means? You want some advice? You are near the station. Take the next train back to England.
I shall go to that address myself. May I have it, please? Thank you. Excuse me, please. Nicht sprechen Deutsch. Ich bin Engländer. Family Rosenheim live here? You know, perhaps, a small boy. Bruno Rosenheim. Here?
Oh, ich wohne nur 2 Monate hier. Fragen Sie den Portier.
Ah, danke.
Was wünschen Sie?
Please, I'm an Englishman.
Yes, and?
I want to ask something.
Yes?
I'm asking after the mother of a small boy. He is now in England. I'm helping to look after him.
What name?
Rosenheim.
This is a Jew thing. You say you are an Engländer. You are a Jew also?
Yes.
Verdammtes Judenschwein, get out of here!
But please...
Big Jew, get out of here! Get out!
Oh, you late, Mr. Emmanuel. Please.
It smells good, Trude.
That's a beautiful Rindsuppe mit Knödeln.
Oh.
Also ich sage, mir gefällt die ganze Sache nicht.
Mr. Emmanuel, den ganzen Tag nichts als Mr. Emmanuel.
Guten Abend. Mahlzeit.
Please, sit down.
Thank you. Frau Kahn, I would like to ask you, I have been trying to find out about the mother of a small boy. Danke. His name is Bruno Rosenheim, and his family used to live in this street.
I'm sorry, Mr. Emmanuel. You ask so many questions. My guests are worried.
But I too am worried. After all, people are not like soap bubbles. They can't just disappear into nothing.
You don't know.
2 days, 3 days, you are asking here, asking there.
And now, I don't know where to ask.
So you will be going back to England?
I don't know when.
If you could only take us all with you.
Everybody is trying to.
If you will excuse, please.
Mr. Emmanuel, I think you don't understand. In Germany, it's safer not to ask questions.
But, Herr K.
Please, it's enough.
It's a shame, Mr. Emmanuel, you didn't eat your nice dinner.
True, that Elsie Silver, she's from England, yes?
Yes, I know, Mr. Emmanuel, but please don't speak about her in this house. I brought you a glass of tea that's going to do you good.
But would you believe such a thing? The daughter from my old friend in Magnolia Street. I must go at once. Bitte, wo kann ich ein Ticket haben?
Da drin.
Lieb und fraglich, wie ich das Glück im Schlaf ist. Leise Nacht, mein Lieb, ich schlafe ein.
Wir sind uns fern und doch so nah, die einen dort, die anderen da.
Would you believe such a thing? She's the daughter from my old friend in Magnolia Street.
Sie, lass uns vereinen, du und ich. Oh, the world is full of wonder still, and it lies right at your feet at will. I have seen and learned and met such as never I'll forget. Only one thing I have not discovered yet. I don't know you, you don't know me. What wasted opportunity. We live together under one same sky. walking down the street. It's time that you and I should meet. Strangers walking down the street. It's time that you and I should
Wunderbares Publikum heute Abend. Hello, Herr Minister. Here already?
Always, darling.
Oh, Willie, how enchanting. I'll wear one for dinner tonight. What shall it be?
Look.
Never seen anything more beautiful.
Like it?
Oh, it's lovely. No strings attached.
No strings.
And I'll wear it.
Good.
Gently, Willie.
All right.
How did you get it? Buy it or was it dropped into the party poor box?
Oh, I must have noticed of that question.
What a lot of racketeers you Nazi big shots are.
Elsie, dear, this is a very pretty neck. You ought to be more careful of it, you know.
Who's afraid of the big black wolf? What is it?
Los, come here.
Ein Englischer Herr.
English?
For Miss Silver.
No.
Thank you. Emmanuel. It's impossible. Old Emmanuel from Magnolia Street.
We've got to hurry, darling. It's time.
Yes, tell him to come some other time. It's impossible just now.
Sag dem Herrn ein andermal. Los, mach, dass du rauskommst.
Don't shout at him, darling.
You little Jewish hellcat. But I love you. And I don't mind if the whole world knows it.
Your world must know it. They'd never let you get away with it.
In this country, you can get away with anything.
And how are you going to do that?
Wait.
You know, they all know I'm a little Jew girl.
I'm the one who decides who's a Jew and who isn't. You know that. I'm going to put you over. I can, and I will.
How? Sit down, darling. You frighten me standing up.
You know the man Kempner?
Yes.
We're giving him a party tonight before he goes off on his new job.
Well?
I'm taking you along.
You daren't. And I daren't.
Between us, Elsie, I think we can pull it off.
It's frightening, Willie. But oh, what fun.
Elsie, Silva. Just 1 moment, please.
gnädige Frau.
Willkommen, Herr Reichsführer.
Seine Exzellenz Wilhelm von Brockenburg.
Miss Elsie Silver.
Und Miss Elsie Silver.
Nee, Frau.
Willkommen, Exzellenz.
Die Schauspielerin.
Ja, Elsie Silver.
Elsie Silver, but this is fantastic. They say she's Jewish.
Jewish as they come. But he's not going to get away with it. He can't.
Hello, Paul. How are you?
Brockenburg delighted. This is an honor.
I think you know Miss Silver?
No. I'm afraid I do not know the lady.
Eine schöne Person. Oh, good evening, Himmler. This is Miss Elsie Silver. Have you two met? I was saying, have you and Miss Silver met?
I have not had the pleasure yet.
How do you do, Herr Himmler? It's nice to meet you. Our English papers are full of you.
No, he's not going to get away with it.
And isn't that Field Marshal Goering, Willie?
Hello, Hermann. Here she is. Miss Elsie Silver, the toast of the town.
No, we have not met.
You've never been to a deer stalk at the Duchess of Blenheim, Field Marshal? I could have sworn.
You stalk deer?
Das ist Gentner.
Ja, das ist er.
Let's have a hunt ball tomorrow night at the Kit Kat. We'll reserve a seat for you, Hermann.
Make it 2 seats. On a sofa.
Ja, was ist?
Eine wichtige Meldung, Herr Feldmarschall.
Ja? You were grand, Elsie.
You weren't so bad yourself.
The night isn't over yet.
It's a lovely party.
The night isn't over yet, Elsie, is it?
Ich muss Sie einen Augenblick sprechen.
Oh. Excuse me, please, one moment.
Miss Silver, I'm afraid I made a mistake.
Yes, you did, didn't you? Never mind, forget it. I shan't.
Oh, I hope you will.
That depends on you.
That fool Kempner got himself assassinated.
That's bad.
Could have been worse.
Is that what you wanted, or did the other people do it?
They'll work it out. Let's dance.
Dankeschön. Good morning, Herr Professor. A packet of cigarettes, please. I want your help.
Not here. Meet me in 10 minutes at the telephone box around the corner. Go the other way. What is it you want to know?
Professor, how do you find out the address of a person when they move? That's all.
The local police has a bureau for that. You pay 1 mark. Please, go now. I must telephone.
But, Professor, I must say thank you. It's so simple. Excuse, please. I'm English.
Engländer, ja? You wish something?
My name is Emmanuel. I am from Doomington in England. This is the Police Information Bureau?
Yes.
I'm looking for the address of a lady, Frau Hertha Rosenheim. She used to live at number 33 Mutstrasse until 5 months ago.
Mutstrasse 33.
I have it written down here on a paper.
Eine Mark, one mark, please. Thank you. I will see we have the record.
Thank you.
Your passport. Passport, please.
Hier, aber Pass dann.
This way, please.
Good day, sir. Take a seat, please.
Thank you.
What is the nature of your interest in this Frau Rosenheim?
She is the mother of a small boy in England. He has not heard from her for a long time.
And that is all?
But of course.
You're not hiding anything?
Hiding? But what should there be to hide?
It will be in order to give you this information as soon as inquiries have been made. Where are you staying here?
Pension Kahn, Mutstrasse 3A.
Thank you. You can go now. You'll be hearing from us soon.
Thank you. How soon, perhaps?
I don't know. 2 days, 3 days, a week, perhaps. I don't know.
Thank you. Could I... my passport? Thank you. Thank you. I told you it would be all right. That policeman, he was as good as gold. He said perhaps 2 days, perhaps 3 days.
Guten Abend.
Guten Abend, Hertha.
It's all right, Tony. Mr. Emmanuel been to the police. Alles is erledigt.
Before you go back to England, we must go out to a cabaret and drink champagne.
Oh, she's a charming lady like you. Why not?
Goodish.
Guten Abend, Bruder.
Emmanuel, der Engländer.
Hier.
Gelaber, Emmanuel? Antworten Sie. Gestapo, aufstehen. Geht ab.
Gestapo? Oh, it must be a mistake. Ich bin Engländer. Look, my passport. His Majesty...
Das. Anziehen.
You will hear from the British government about this.
Ich gebe Ihnen 5 Minuten.
I never heard such a thing.
Das wird mitgenommen.
I warn you, the British consul will hear of this. Please, what is the charge?
Wird's schon sehen, du Judenschwein.
I want to telephone to the British consul.
Aufstehen. Still. Führ ihn ab.
Cooper? Oh, dear, I do hope that...
People are always waiting for letters in this house.
Morning, Mrs. Cooper. Oh, batch for you today. From Germany.
Thank you.
Eh?
They're our own letters. They've all come back. Address unknown. But he's written to us from there.
No. Addressee unknown.
What's happened to him, Bruno? Where's he disappeared to? It's 8 weeks now. Oh, Bruno, I'm frightened.
Don't worry, Mrs. Cooper. Nothing could happen to Mr. Emmanuel. You'll see.
Rouse! I'm ready, gentlemen.
Keine Frechheit!
Highlighter! Highlighter!
Name? Please, it is now 8 weeks, 9 weeks. I would like to know.
Name?
Isaac Emmanuel.
Place and date of birth?
Sfaxen, Russia, May 1875.
Jew?
Yes, but for 50 years I'm also an Englishman.
To us you are just a Jew. Why were you arrested? Why?
But that's just the question I've been asking everybody all the time. I must see my consul.
When did you last meet Norbert Rosenheim?
Who?
You know. Norbert Rosenheim.
Oh, Bruno's father. I never knew him, only the boy.
Very pretty. Very well done. What did you come to this country for? Who asked you?
Only the boy. You see, he hadn't heard from
Who have
his...
you been in touch with since you got here?
Well, I've merely tried to find out about Bruno's mother, where she is.
So you admit you've been engaged in espionage activities. You admit you've been approaching innocent citizens and trying to compromise them. You admit all that or not?
I've merely tried to find out someone who could tell me.
What do you know about the murder of Anton Kempner? Who? I said the murder of Anton Kempner.
But please, I don't understand what you're talking about. You ought to be ashamed of yourselves to treat like this an old man.
Do you deny writing this postcard?
Yes, I do.
Then you admit your association with Samuel Silver, the communist leader.
Whatever are you talking about? Communist leader, my old friend and neighbor? Why, he lives next door to me in Magnolia Street.
So you don't deny your acquaintance with his Silver? You don't?
Well, of course not. Why should I?
Then perhaps you'll admit that he sent you to plan the murder of Anton Kempner.
How can you say such a thing? Aren't you afraid of the lightning from heaven? Why, even your own Adolf Hitler...
A crime!
Reichssender Berlin. Es folgt der Nachrichtendienst. Ein englischer Jude, Isaac Emmanuel, wurde verhaftet als Mörder des...
Emmanuel? Verhaftet?
Für den Mord? Das ist ja unmöglich.
Ich habe das immer gesagt.
Special! 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 Mr. Emmanuel arrested a spy in Germany.
Not our Mr. Emmanuel from up the street.
No, what the hell's all this about?
Here, it's him, tall geezer from number 14.
Well, what a ruddy sauce. They'll be arresting Lord Mayor next.
Special! Special! Mr. Emmanuel arrested a spy in Germany.
I told him not to
Special!
go.
Special!
There's one thing I want you to realize, Bruno, and that is you've got no reason at all to reproach yourself. Absolutely none.
First my father, then my mother, and now Mr. Emmanuel.
I know. But you must try and keep your mind on your work and your games. Do your best at both, so as to be worthy of him. That's all you can do for him at the moment.
Yes, sir.
And you can be quite certain that all that can be done is being done.
Madam? Madam, Miss Silver.
Go away.
You've had a hassle this afternoon. You must get up.
Oh, what a nuisance you are.
Yes, madam.
What's going on in the world, anyway? I thought the rehearsal was tomorrow. What's this? Wer wir hören, ist ein englischer Jude, Isaac Emmanuel, Anstifter einer internationalen Mörderbande. Dribbling fools!
Hello?
Hello, darling. Can I get you another cup?
Get me 2 more cups.
I'll have some of your famous sherry. Won't you smash the coffee pot? You look adorable, darling. Has that blonde at the Kit Kat been up to her tricks again?
Don't be funny, Willie.
Well, what's wrong?
I'm upset.
Upset? Has anybody said something to you? Where? Who was it?
No, it's something I've read.
In the newspapers? About you?
No, not about me. It's this. The Kempner case. The arrest of the Englishman.
Oh, the Jew.
Yes, the old man, Emmanuel.
Oh, hell of it. As if I hadn't heard enough about that the whole day long. Got nothing to do with you, anyway.
If you're going to talk like that, I shan't say another word.
Forgive me, darling, I'm a bore. But why should it upset you?
He's from Doomington, a dear old friend of mine.
Oh. I suppose it was rather a shock to you. Well, forget it.
It's not so easy. He lived next door. When my parents were cross with me, I used to creep into his house and he'd sit me on his knee and give me sweets. Oh, Willie, I loved him. He can't have done it.
Of course not. Who on earth says he has?
Darling, have I ever asked anything from you before?
No.
Listen. That old man is the one lovely thing I remember out of all my childhood.
Oh, do be sensible, darling. I'm not arguing about him. What do you want?
You know what I want. I want you to use your influence and get him out of it.
Preposterous. Just because the miserable creature happens to have been nice to you.
It'll be hard work, I admit that. But you can do it. If you get Goering on your side. There's another reason, too.
What's got hold of you now?
I don't pretend to know anything about politics. But I do know something about the English. They won't allow it.
Oh, the fellow isn't an Englishman. He's just an old Jew. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean...
I know what you mean. But the English don't look at it that way.
You're bleating like a schoolgirl. I strongly resent your mixing yourself up with affairs of this sort. Are you not going to promise never to bring this up again?
No.
No. You won't promise?
No.
I've had enough of this. Well?
gone, madam?
He'll be back.
Well, Mr. Emmanuel, it looks as if our little difficulties are over. Nothing like cooperation. Eh?
I don't know what you're talking about. You make my head swindle.
But, my dear Mr. Emmanuel, I understood. How do you say it in England? You were going to eat turkey with us.
That is all you have to say to me. Would you please to beat me up again and let me go back to my cell?
Schnauze! The murder! So you deny knowing the student Osip Pavlovich?
I do not know him.
Rhyme with him! Do you deny that this Osip Pavlovich is one of the members of your international murder gang, and that you assigned him to the murder of Anton Kempner?
I have never seen the young man before in my life. I have committed no murder. I have never wanted I should inflict pain or injury on any human being. God should so help me.
Is this your handwriting? Is this man Isaac Emmanuel known to you? Read it off!
Yes.
And do you not in this confession swear that at the orders of this Isaac Emmanuel, you organized the murder of...
It's a lie! It's a lie! I killed Anton Kempner, and I did it myself! I've never seen this man in my life before! Do what you like to me! Before God, it is the truth!
But you have confessed in this document that it was from this Isaac Emmanuel that you got your orders.
Of course I did! And if you had gone on beating me long enough, I'd have confessed anything! I'd even confess you gave me the order!
You see, Mr. Emmanuel? There's no doubt about your guilt. We have documentary evidence.
Elsie. You little black-eyed devil. I can't do without you. You know I can't.
Why'd you try? Well?
Well, what?
What have you done?
I did everything I could.
Really?
They found the real murderer.
Then it's all right.
No, it's all wrong.
What do you mean?
They made him sign a confession. He declared that your friend, Mr. Emmanuel, was the head of the whole thing. Sort of international murder gang.
Emmanuel? Poor, sweet, silly old Mr. Emmanuel. Oh, Willie, have you ever heard of anything so idiotic?
I suppose it is. But that won't make any difference. They'll hang on to him. They're out for a big trial with all the trimmings.
Can nothing more be done?
Nothing.
I think you came back too soon.
It may mean my head.
What's ahead, more or less, these days?
Open Sie die Tür.
Mr. Emmanuel, I've heard about your case and prevailed on the governor to let me come and see you.
What do you want, please?
Shall we sit down? Here I have all the papers of your case.
Oh, there have been too many papers. If only it was a plate of English roast beef.
You know, you are being held for trial, Mr. Emmanuel. It will be a big affair. You remember the Reichstag trial?
But when they killed that little Dutchman, but I come from a great country.
Unfortunately, this is a criminal charge. Even your embassy is powerless. Don't you see, on this side, it is impossible for them to admit that they are entirely in the wrong. Why not confess to 1 or 2 minor charges? Why not? They will have something to try you for.
But I have not been guilty of anything.
What does it matter? They might sentence you to a month or 2's detention. The time you have spent here would be taken into account. You might be free tomorrow.
It was good of you to come, Mr. Lawyer. But you are not so clever as you think, you and the people who sent you. You have tried to kill my body. Well, you have not done it. And what are you trying to do now? You are trying to kill my soul. I tell you, I will sign my name to no lies. I am in God's hands.
I had the whole thing settled, but the old fool won't cooperate.
Silver, 2 minuten.
Hold still, madam.
I hope you've thought better of it. It's going to be impossible.
You must try again.
Elsie, you're a fool. You don't know what you're up against. What do you want to drag me into it for?
Couldn't get very far by myself, could I?
Are you absolutely dead set on it? Aren't there any of your friends in Berlin we could do something about? Get them out of the country with their money on.
I'm not prepared to make a bargain for Mr. Emmanuel's head. Cameron?
Yes, madam?
We've got an offer from Stockholm.
Oh, that's good news, madam. I suppose we must finish the show here first.
I'm not so sure.
I hate this place. All these uniforms. Oh, madam, it's his car.
He's back again.
This time I thought it was all over.
Well, how do we stand?
Feel my head. Please tell me if it's still there.
Well, aren't you going to tell me what's happened?
Didn't I tell you all along it was going to be all right?
Do you mean?
Elsie Silver, get me a drink.
Yes, Herr Minister. What shall it be? I know. Danziger Goldwasser. The gold leaves are so pretty.
So, Mr. Emmanuel, 1 lamp for 2.
Could it be 4 lamps?
Yes, it can be 14.
It was very kind of you, Trude. You should take all this trouble. Such wonderful creases, like a sergeant major.
Oh, well, I'm glad. Please, it shouldn't get cold.
And it was not tea with lemon. Trude, this isn't only tea with lemon. You put something in. So they've all gone out. They really thought I was a bad man.
No, Mr. Emmanuel. Nobody could think that.
It's been a long time, Trude. 1, 2, 3. I can't remember. My head swims. Why did they let me out? Why did they? Was there a big excitement in England? Tell me, Trude, was there perhaps something in the newspapers? Why did they let me out? Who did it?
Mr. Emmanuel, the man said you must pack, and then you must go away as quick as you can.
Yes, Trude. He gave me 12 hours.
I got the trains here. Frau Kahn left them for you.
I think I would like a cigarette, Trude. Perhaps there are some here. What's this? English cigarettes? A whole packet of 20. I might as well be home already.
What are you looking for? Your cigarette holder? That pretty one? That's in your pocket here. Here.
Bruno's present.
What's the matter, Mr. Emmanuel?
But I can't go back to Bruno without news of his mother. Is she alive or dead? I can't face him with no news at all. I will not go home.
Mr. Emmanuel, you must hurry. Mr. Emmanuel, you're going to miss your train. That one at 6 o'clock, that's the last one you can take.
I promised him, Trude. How can I go?
Mr. Emmanuel, I'll fetch a taxi.
Trude? Trude? Hello? Hello? Pension Kahn, yes? This is Mr. Emmanuel speaking. Who are you, please?
You are Mr. Emmanuel? Why haven't you gone yet? Why are you still there?
But you must be. Who are you, please?
Quiet, have some sense.
But it must be you. It can't be no one else. Why have you done this?
I've done nothing. But why are you still there? Why haven't you gone yet?
But I can't go. I came here to find out what had happened to the mother of a small boy from Berlin, and I will not go back to face him without news.
But are you mad? You must go at once.
But this is a miracle. I am thinking of you, and here you are. Will you help me? Are you still there?
What's the woman's name and her last address?
Hertha Rosenheim, Motzstrasse 33.
Motzstrasse 33. If I can find out, I can do it quickly. If not...
If you try, it will be enough.
At 5 o'clock you will be... Let it be near where you just said, the corner. A big grey car will draw up and the driver will give you a piece of paper. It will have something on it or nothing. Destroy it. Listen. Are you still there? And when you get back to Magnolia Street, give my love to my family, if they want it. Goodbye.
Goodbye, and God bless you.
Mr. Emmanuel, please, the taxi's waiting.
Taxi? Who said anything about a taxi? Send him away. I've got something to do first.
Bitte?
Frau Rosenheim?
Wie bitte?
Frau Hertha Rosenheim live here?
Keine Ahnung.
Does anybody speak English here? Sprechen English da?
Yes, what is it? Who do you want?
Frau Rosenheim.
There is a mistake, sir. Good day.
No, I do not think a mistake. Can I have a word with you, please, Frau Rosenheim?
There is no such person here. I am Frau Heinkes.
I beg your pardon, Frau Heinkes. I have a message. May I come in now, please?
Come in.
Thank you.
Was stehen Sie da? Gehen Sie weg. Now, please, will you explain? I expect my husband at any moment.
Your husband?
Karl Heinkes.
Oh, of course. Please, Frau Heinkes, why don't you wish it known that you were once Frau Rosenheim?
That was another life. I am a German woman, true at last to my German blood.
Oh. Please, Frau Heinkes, I have come to the end of a long journey. It is not as I expected, what I find. May I sit down, please?
What is the message you have for me? Who are you?
I come from your son, Bruno.
Bruno? My son, Bruno? What do you talk about? He is dead.
Dead? Oh, no.
But
no.
he is, I tell you. A letter came telling me he is dead.
A letter saying he is dead? But when did it come? When?
A long time ago now, a year.
A year? Well, I come from England only a few months ago, and since I've been in Germany, I've had letters from him. You know his handwriting? Look.
No. No, it is not true.
And I have some photographs, too. Look, this was taken in his school, in his little football trousers. He's quite a little Englishman now. You had better see.
Oh, Bruno. Oh, my little one. My baby.
But he's not dead. It's he who thought you were dead. And worse, maybe. Who told you he was dead?
A letter came. I was afraid to open it. I knew my Bruno was very ill.
Yes, he had had rheumatic fever.
My husband opened it. I can see him now standing there. Never shall I forget. Not a word does he speak. Then he looks at me, and I know from his face. I cry out. Then he lifts the lid of the stove and let the letter drop in, and let the lid fall again. For me, it was the lid of a coffin. But he is very good and gentle with me, my husband.
But he was lying to you, Frau Heinkes.
Who are you, a Jew, to say a German lies?
And all the other letters that he wrote to you, every week, they all go the same way, into the stove. And week after week, month after month, he waits for a letter from you. It is not right for a child that he should suffer so. It is not right, Frau Heinkes. He loves you, your Bruno.
And I love him. I love him, my Bruno. I cannot yet believe, I cannot think he is alive. My precious darling. Perhaps in his holidays he pay me a visit, or I go to see him.
Oh. So, you want your little brat back.
Karl.
You little precious, you little darling. A Jew. What are you doing here? Huh? Haven't you a tongue in your head? What are you doing here? Who are you?
My name is Isaac Emmanuel.
What? Emmanuel? This Emmanuel. The spy, the murderer.
Perhaps you have not read it. It is because I am not a spy or a murderer that they have let me go.
What are you doing here? Pestering my wife.
I came to Germany to find out what had become of Bruno's mother. I have found out.
But Carl, Bruno is not dead. He is alive. Why did you let me believe he was dead?
For your sake, to make it easier for you to break with your old life. And you wanted to, didn't you? You even wanted to believe that your Bruno was dead, didn't you? He was the one thing that was between us. The last shameful reminder of your pollution. And this is all the thanks I get for giving you the chance to be true again to your German blood. Well, you can choose your Jewish brat or your German husband. You can't have both. And now, choose now.
Take these.
You don't want?
Want them? Want them? I'll show you how much I want them. And now, go. My husband was right. He's always right. It was wicked of you to have come.
It is a pity I should have been such a trouble to you. Good day, Herr und Frau Heikes. You are coming too?
No, dear. This is your job. It'll be better for him if you're alone.
Aye. It will not be easy.
I know. I'll be waiting for you. And for Bruno if he wants to see me.
Come in.
Mr. Emmanuel, sir.
Mr. Emmanuel, come in. I'm delighted to see you. This is grand. I do hope it wasn't too frightful, Mr. Emmanuel. It's grand having you here. Do please sit down.
Thank you. No. I'm fine, thank you, fine. And the boy, is he quite well?
He's getting along splendidly. I sent a boy for him. He'll be along in no time. He's playing for the school this afternoon for the first time.
Oh?
I thought it best not to interfere with that.
No, of course not.
Dear me, they'll be kicking off quite soon. Come in. Ah, there you are, Bruno. Well, I do hope there'll be a chance for a word with you before you go. I won't say goodbye.
Thank you. Bruno. Why, what a big boy you've grown. It's been a long time, Bruno.
First, I want to say thank you. Now, please, is she alive or dead?
She's dead, Bruno.
I get hold of her?
No, no, no. You can put all such terrible thoughts right out of your head. In that way, no harm came to her at all.
Are you sure?
Quite sure. That lovely mother who was so good to you and whom you loved so much is gone.
I think I'm glad. I often used to pray she should be dead. But you, Mr. Emmanuel, they beat you. Did they hurt you very much?
Sometimes it was not very nice.
Oh, sorry, sir. I was looking for Dr. Forsyth. I say, we're waiting for you.
Oh, go along, Bruno. Dr. Forsyth has told me you play for the school. That's wonderful.
But you won't go?
No, no, no. Mrs. Cooper and I will stay and watch the match.
Oh, good.
Come on.